The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to A Face for Radio. I'm Richard Marks.
And I'm Phil Hirsch.
Hey, happy Monday evening, everyone.
It's good to see you.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, we're back. I'll tell you, exciting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Against your brick wall there.
Yeah, exactly. Just another brick in the wall. No doubt about that.
You know it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in Canada. You know, I do miss the brick facades. Well, the real brick houses, as they used to have. Not too many of those in southern Florida, at least.
We got to draw a box on there, and then we can have a pickup game of stickball. Did you ever play stickball?
Oh, yes, I did. Way back in the day. That's right. You had to throw the ball in the square, and you had that little broomstick or whatever it was, and
yeah, we had it down to a science. We actually had our own official stickball stadiums that we found. A couple of local grade schools had the perfect wall and a grass outfield and a fence and everything. We did that. We're pretty crazy about that.
We had another exciting game called 5-10. So basically, as you know, most houses up north have steps leading up to the front door because they're built up, and you of course have basements. Yeah. So the first 5 steps, if you hit the tip of the step and you caught the ball, that was worth 1,000. If it was in between the first step and the step right below that, that would be worth, say, 250. But if you hit it on the tip and you caught it, it was worth 500. And of course, if you missed the steps entirely, you go back to zero.
We had a thing kind of like curveball where you'd throw it and it would the ball would, and you'd actually have somebody playing a fielding position. They'd have to catch the ball, and it was sort of like a game of baseball when you didn't really have a field to play on. We just did it kind of like an urban thing, We had
a tennis ball. That's all you needed. A tennis ball against the steps. You'd catch it on one bounce. If you caught it without a bounce, you'd get more points and everything.
Or a pinky ball.
Pinky ball too.
Yeah. Reminiscing about our youth as we slowly move into our later years.
Scary, huh?
Yeah. So kind of a I wanted to start the show off tonight by broaching kind of a somber subject here. I'm back up in northeastern PA, and on screen, we had a recent tragedy here in the Clark Summit area where I reside. The gentleman on the right there, Ed Mazaleski, had been a friend of mine for about 7-8 years. I knew him at my local gym, Birchwood Fitness. Shout out there to Joy DeSoto, my good friend. Eddie and I got to know each other really well. Ed was a avid fitness, I guess you call him a freak about it, because he worked out almost every day. He rarely missed a day. And I remember a few times saying, Eddie, you got to take a day off, man. It's just not good to be exercising every day. You got to try to let your body recoup, right? But no, it was his coping mechanism. He had to work out. Well, the lovely lady on the left, that was his girlfriend of 23 years, Virginia. I met her just once. She came to the gym one time because the other gym in town, for whatever reason, I think the steam room was broken, and she and Eddie both loved their steam rooms. And so she worked out the one time. Beautiful lady. I mean, they were really, really special couple. And we had I guess you'd call a freak rainstorm last Saturday, about 10 days ago. I heard that there were 8 inches of rain fell in about an hour and a half. I mean, it's just a mind-blowing amount of rain, especially for this area. We're not in the tropics down here. We're not down south. We're in northeastern Pennsylvania. And the area just simply was just overwhelmed with water, especially from the higher elevations. It came down. We're kind of like on a mountain here. It's called Clark Summit for a reason. Circumstances around the incident are just, you just wonder why bad things happen to good people,
Yeah.
they just made a fateful turn to go through a road that had a railroad tunnel that was just a one-lane passage. And they were trying to get from the lower part of the town that floods. The roads flood over. Basically, you can't pass, and the water will be up to the windows in your car.
Oh.
And I guess they didn't realize the extent of how much water was coming down the mountain. And they turned into this tunnel to get through, to get up to the higher part of the town. And the water just overwhelmed their car. Literally, the water was overtopping the hood, and water was coming in. And I mean, they called 911. They were right next to a fire station too. And the water, I mean, I saw videos. It was like a torrent. It was like whitewater rapids coming. Nobody could get through it. I mean, it was just, they couldn't get to them. So when the water came up to their chest, the 911 operator said, you have to get out of the car. Or you'll drown in the car. So Eddie was in the passenger seat. Virginia was driving. And he got out first, and the water just washed him down. He grabbed the pole and held on for dear life. And then Virginia went out the passenger side directly after him. And I guess the water just took her, and she flew by him. He tried to grab her, and she couldn't get her. She drowned like probably seconds later. I mean, it's just unimaginable that something like this could happen. And then Ed was really severely injured from the in the impact of, I think, branches hit him that were flowing down. He had some fractured ribs. It was terrible. He ended up in the hospital, and he gave a blow-by-blow account of what had happened like the day after to a local reporter. And and we're all just scratching our heads. Apparently he was overtaken by some form of sepsis. It was like a necrotizing fasciitis, I think they call it, like the flesh-eating bacteria. And he was gone in 2 days. And I found out, I mean, I hadn't spoken to Ed in a number of years. During COVID, our gym closed, and he ended up going to a different place. And then I have been in Florida, as you know, Phil, for the last couple of years. But we loosely stayed in touch. And, in fact, not even like 2-3 months ago when I was back up here, a friend of mine who I saw today at the gym, of all things, had mentioned to me, Eddie says hello, and I used to say hello through him. I had his cell phone number. I could have been texting him, but it was just one of those things. For like 7-8 years, he would work out, and without fail, we'd be in the steam room holding court, talking about, the day's events, politics, sports, our ladies in our lives, our kids, stocks. We talked about everything, talked about his real estate issues, problems with tenants. And he was always just, he was just one of those guys, he really didn't have a bad thing to say about anybody. He just kind of had a smile on his face, and he's gone, and it's just, it's such a senseless way to go, and how it happened. 56 years old, and he had life by the horns. He was pretty much retired. He and Virginia were I think they already had a place in North Carolina that they were going to be moving to. And he always talked about, he loved the Raleigh area. So, our hearts are broken, and we're just kind of day by day, I go to the gym almost every day now, and all I can do is think about him not being here, and him, hanging out and wearing that's black the black hoodie and the black sweatpants. Always wore the same. He's even in black in the picture there. Always wore the same thing. I mean, it's just, the guy was a creature of habit. And on Wednesday, there's going to be a service in celebration of his life here in Clark Summit. And I just about everybody I know is going. My wife and I are going, and my buddy Ed Baldone, he'll be there, and probably about another dozen people from Birchwood, where we all knew him, and then his adopted Jim, he started going to the YMCA in Dunmore. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to share this podcast to the next door people in the Clark Summit area. So hopefully some of them will see this, and they'll know who I'm talking about, and they'll appreciate, because I appreciated him. And so anyway, I felt I really compelled. I needed to do that tonight. So God bless you, Eddie and Virginia. Rest in peace. Yeah. And maybe I'll see you down the road someday if I'm so lucky to be where you're probably now.
It's sad. I mean, I'm his age, basically.
Yeah. Well, let's enough of that. Let's bring on my good friend.
Yes.
My good friend Joe Ferguson. There he is.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Wow. He used to play for the Bills. No, I'm just kidding.
Quarterback.
Different Joe Ferguson.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, for anybody who's following our podcasts, Joe was with us about a year ago, and he was on one of our very first podcasts. We had a really lively discussion talking about Joe's handiwork, and he's in the fitness industry, and he's done it all, and he's doing a lot these days. He's doing great. He's with Legend Fitness. They are a top flight equipment manufacturer. They make the big stuff. They make the stuff that's built to last. Wow. And I guess they're out of Tennessee, right, Joe?
Yep,
Somewhere
we're in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right.
We actually have probably one of the only people that have a 15-year warranty on our equipment. Does that mean it lasts or what?
Plus, it's also made in America, which is
it's all USA. Everything
loves that.
Yeah,
and it's all USA steel, so it's not even the parts are coming out of China. It's all USA. So
that's great.
Love it. It's beautiful.
We build it to last, but it's not. If you're looking for those bargain basement deals, that's not us. But we customize it to your liking, your colors. We can put your face on everything. So we
not this face though.
Oh, maybe we'll put Phil's in or Fetterman. We'll put Fetterman.
Yeah, Fetterman's face. Yeah, why not? That'll sell.
Wait, let's not jump.
Free hoodie while supplies last.
No jumping ahead here, guys.
I'm telling you. Oh my God.
Well,
senatorial hoodie.
Speaking of the customization, so you do a lot of schools. So you really get involved in the various the color schemes and all the logos and all that stuff. And that's probably one of the biggest appeals of your company to the market at large, because you guys do all that custom work.
Yeah, that's probably the number one thing that separates us from a lot of people, besides the fact that our equipment's built like a tank. The other thing is we're getting into now doing even these high-rise apartment complexes down here in Florida that are high-end, because the high-end condominiums down here all want top-notch equipment it's a selling point for them. So we're customizing a couple of them right now, and they love it. They love having their name on it and, showing off to people coming in looking to buy, rent, look what we have, so it's pretty neat. Now, this is a high school that you're seeing here in New Jersey. It's called Roxbury High School. We just did this past summer. Great job. Looks great. We even do we have a flooring company we work with. We did the floor. I did everything that's in there, dumbbells, plates, you name it. I actually have a good friend of mine who is also doing this when it comes to all the spec jobs. He's doing the project management. He's doing a lot of project management for me. It's called the Gym Administrator.
Would that be the one and only Sal Corrente?
It's the one and only.
Wow.
The man, the myth, the legend.
That's it. we got it. He is it. But he's actually working side by side with me and building a lot of new places, and he's helped me out with the items that we don't make. So he pretty much supplies everything we don't do. So works well together.
Yeah, and I guess from what I've heard from conversations with you guys, so you've got like about 5 or 6 vendors that you're featuring now as like your product lines, like TKO. I've heard of TKO, but other ones. What are some of the other ones?
Well, TKO Strength is probably the biggest one we have. We have a couple cardio companies called Spirit Fitness and Sports Art. Okay, they're both cardio companies that we use a lot. Great warranties. I try to sell people workhorses. The pretty stuff that has all the bells and whistles don't really last that well. And cardio's changed a lot. The fitness field's changed a lot. A lot of people have gone away from, back in the day, every fitness center needed at least 20 treadmills, just because that's where people always started on treadmill, and they always went to, from there to the warmed up, went to the workout. But you would also see people on a treadmill or bike for like an hour. You
Right.
don't see it anymore. People are trending. They're doing high intensity training, so everything's going to the strength side.
Well,
And
like when you were on our show a year ago, we were talking about how people probably over cardio.
Yeah.
That really don't need to be on cardio for an hour.
No.
Probably at best 15, 20 minutes tops, almost as a warm up. And then it's all about lifting weights, right? And
sure. Well, look, the bottom line is the bottom line when it comes to health and wellness is getting your heart rate to the right level while you're training. And if you do that with proper even weight training, keeping it up there in the right zone, you're gonna burn, the fat, and you're gonna build the muscle if you do it the correct way. So you don't really. Everybody used to think, well, if I don't get my cardio in, I'm not doing what I need to do because I only lifting weights is only build the muscle. Well, it's not necessarily true. Depends on how you do it. Yes, if you're going to take 10 minutes between each set, then yes, you're not going to be burning that fat. But if you want to do a high intensity training, and over the years, what we realized, your body level is only going to work for about 45 minutes to an hour in top-notch training. After that, you're pretty much going into what we would say would be really negative workout. So you're actually breaking down your muscle at that point. So overtraining is, like you were saying earlier when you first started, overtraining is not the answer. Everybody thinks they got to train 16 hours a day every day, and it's not necessarily true. Your body needs to recover. That's why they do body parts. People train body parts because if you train your whole body every day, your body would break down.
Right. So, you're like you said. Well, that's the whole concept of muscle growth is you're actually tearing and damaging the muscle tissue, and when it heals, that's when it grows. It gets bigger because you're building, I guess the connective tissue and all that in the muscle as it repairs.
In your body needs that, depending on the muscle group, needs anywhere from 48 to 72 hours just to recover. So your legs being a bigger part of your body, you need longer for that to recover. That's going to take more like 72 hours. Where the smaller muscle groups within 48 hours, it'll be back,
So like you really can't do consecutive days doing like bench pressing and stuff to build pecs and delts and stuff. No, it's one day you have to rest. 2 days?
Well, it all depends on the muscle groups, and also depends on how you feel and what you did. Yeah. Now you could have done 2 that day. There's guys that right now that are doing 2, training the same body parts twice a day. But what they're doing is doing high repetitions, low weights during it earlier, and then doing heavy weights and lower reps later on at night. So they're breaking it up. Even though they're doing the chest, they're trying to confuse it.
Right. Well, that's the other thing you hear about all the time about you have to constantly change up your workout so your body just never gets set. It becomes too routine, and your body then stops responding.
It's the same thing with eating. If you only say, "Oh, I'm going to only eat 2,000 calories a day," but you eat the same 2,000 calories every day, the same stuff, your body's going to get used to it. You're not going to break down. You're not going to break the fat down because your body's just going to get so used to it. You have to change your levels. You have to change what you're eating, what you're doing. It's stagnant. Your body's, works that way.
Yeah. And really, in all honesty, you really don't have to avoid really any particular food group. Like you always hear about people going low carb or keto, that they avoid carbs, but you really need those carbs for energy.
Yeah.
For quick bursts of energy anyway.
Your best bet would be changing your diet where one day you're doing more of a high protein, high fats, high proteins, and the next day going low fats, low proteins, and then then you do medium proteins, medium fats. You got to change it up. That's when your body will get confused. That's when you'll start seeing movements of the weight. But you also understand people want to lose weight. They don't realize if they don't eat properly, they're not losing the right weight. But what they're doing is tearing their muscle down by not eating enough protein, by not getting enough of nutrients in their body. So they need to be able to realize that they need to get 1 gram of protein of their body weight in their body somehow every day. Well, That's hard because your body only could consume so much protein at one time.
Yeah.
So that's why it goes back to you have to eat more often.
And you have to make sure you drink a lot of water. You have to get your fluids in.
Yep.
Avoid sugary stuff. I mean, really avoid like over the top sugar anyway. I mean, it's in most foods, but like, drinking like some of those energy drinks have so much sugar in them. It's
those
energy
drinks are probably the worst thing out there. All these young guys are doing it. They think they need that boost. I trained for a lot of years, never once needed that. And what it does, it'll break down a lot of your adrenal glands by taking too much of it. And once they're shot, you're going to be sick all the time because there's nothing. Adrenal glands fight off a lot of the sicknesses and illnesses you get. If you don't have them, you can't fight off all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I had a trainer who worked for me. This guy he could have came out of a magazine. He looked so good. He was sick all the time because that's all he did was drink that stuff. Terrible.
Wow.
Terrible. So your insides, doesn't matter what your outsides look like, your insides are trash,
Yeah. And plus, if you ever look at an ingredients label, the chemicals that are in there, the dyes, they put all kinds of 3 or 4 dyes in there and God knows what else, it's a lot of salt, right? They always put a lot of salt in there.
It's supplements. Anything that has a supplement in it, is putting something that your body it's not natural to your body. So it's going to reject it one way or the other, or it's going to hurt you. I do. It's funny because I just had somebody come over and do blood work and everything for a life insurance policy. And the lady's like, do you smoke? I go, no. You do drugs? No. You do this? No. Okay. What do you take? You don't take medication? I say, no, I take Juice Plus. She's like, what's that? I showed her. It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. It's natural. So it never affects anything. The only thing I've been taking since 2008. And everybody thinks I'm like, my kids are like, oh, you're Superman. You never get sick. You never this. Hey, look, I try to do it, get good sleep, and I take my Juice Plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're in South Florida. You get a lot of sunshine. The vitamin D is coursing through your veins, so your immune system is fired up. Because that's the challenge up north again. I'll be doing about 5,000 IUs a day, which I guess is about the level that you need to be anyway. But I won't have the booster of the sun beating down on me like you guys will.
Like I am right now. Yeah. Exactly. Well, both of us. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's it.
I'll miss that. I still have my sort of tan from my last stint in Florida. But
well, on a positive note, we're actually supposed to get down to 71 degrees here in Davie next week, so that's exciting. I can't remember the last time we were at 71 degrees. Got to go back to May.
Oh yeah, I know.
In the morning.
It could be so oppressive down there, and then when you get those breaks in the weather where the humidity drops and this was the weather as advertised.
Yeah,
we always hear about it.
Right now, you got to go to northern Florida if you want to be in the low 60s, and they are going through that in Crestview and everything like that. So
is anything bearing down on you guys in terms of weather? Because we've had a couple of misses.
Yeah,
they've been taking right turns going up north, hitting my area.
We have a flood watch right now until about 10:15. So for at least another hour and a half, but we had some pretty strong rain. But
no hurricanes are bearing down on.
No, strong thunderstorms a little bit earlier. I thought it was going to be a little dicey getting online tonight and everything, but so far so good. And
okay, well, that's good to know.
So we're okay for now, but still a little bit of thunder in the background.
Oh yeah, it's thunder.
Well,
definitely hearing it.
Yeah, every day. It'll rain every day. It's the rainy season. It rains every day. Almost set your watch to it. When the rain's coming.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
So speaking of Florida and some of the, inhabitants of Florida, one of your biggest exports there we go.
Oh,
so up here in northeastern PA, we seem to have a alligator infestation problem.
Jeez.
And it's really bizarre, but
wow.
So try to figure this out, but they're concerned about the fate of the loose alligators that are roaming through the small towns of of Pennsylvania. And so I have taken upon myself, I've filed the paperwork. I have started up a chapter of ALM because after all, I mean, alligator lives matter, right? So,
That's hilarious.
I'm going to make T-shirts up,
head.
and I'm going to register as a 501c3.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to find a way to pay for this podcast somehow.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Save the alligators.
Exactly.
Save the Pennsylvania alligators, right?
Oh, too funny.
Well, what I found so funny about the story was that they were so concerned about how are these alligators going to survive in the winter. I mean, not to mention like if some young kid is in his backyard and an alligator comes running out of some swampy thing. Who cares about the kid? It's the alligator matters, right?
Yeah, right.
That's right.
So,
wow.
So that's just one of the I don't know. You come up to Pennsylvania, it just gets really weird really fast. Another Pennsylvania story here. So it seems that the Charles Schumer, being that he is the majority leader, he has passed a new dress code. I'd say like he's eased the dress code for there he is, our Uncle Festerman.
Great image.
It is now I guess appropriate now to wear hoodies and exercise pants or sweatpants.
Or boxer shorts. Who knows? In the summer months, they'll probably strip down.
And he'll be wearing high tops or something, probably not laced, with black socks. Who knows?
Yeah, they go up to your knee. He'll dress like a Canadian.
Fill out the ensemble. But that is our esteemed senator, our junior senator from Pennsylvania. That's Senator. It's Fetterman is the real name, but I guess Uncle Fester fits,
Yeah,
it's totally. A good fit. Uncle. I mean, it's funny how these things always work out where the names are just close enough that you can. It's like the jokes write themselves, Uncle Festerman. So there he is.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
by the way, that light bulb is now banned. So
that's an incandescent, is it?
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
Democrats will be offended if you.
He needs an LED in that mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My Lord. And a paper straw that contains carcinogens or carcinogens or who knows what.
Oh God.
Anyways,
I mean, living up here, and on top of that, we have the all the roads or the highways are now the President Joseph Biden Depressway.
No.
Because there's they named one of the main arteries into downtown Scranton. The President, not just Joe Biden Expressway, it's President Joseph Biden Expressway. Oh. And I think I noticed on the green interstate sign, it has like these little like screws on it, like they're almost understanding that they're probably gonna have to remove this at some point, because at some point when everything comes out, I mean everything's already come out. It's just whether anybody does anything about them, right? Eventually they're gonna say, well, maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. Just somebody will be up there with the whatever the bird's nest thing, whatever those things are called, and they'll be stopping traffic, and some guy with a screwdriver will be slowly.
Yeah, right.
The thing will go like ring. It'll be hanging by one screw.
Exactly.
And then the last one will go fall on the ground, and then it'll be like it never happened. Like it was a bad dream. Except
that was some intense thunder.
You see it? You hear that?
That sounds like it's time for a commercial break. If you ask me,
I think that was the Lord above seconding our motion on the
on Fetterman.
Like maybe one way, a good bolt of lightning will take care of them. Just take those signs right out. I mean, I heard like George Floyd had a mural on a wall of a building,
and the lightning came and burnt the mural. It's amazing.
Yeah, burnt the mural.
Wow.
So big guy up there,
Yep.
Counting on you.
Seriously.
There's about three huge signs in different places that need to be taken out. So, anything's possible with the Lord above. They can do it, right?
Amen.
Hey, so you know what? Let's let me tell you about Miles Franklin, one of our sponsors. Before we'll do our other, we'll put up the specials there for the weekly special. There we go. So right now, I mean, just from my own perspective, and I am a customer of theirs. I've been for a number of years. I know Andy Scheckman, the owner, pretty darn well. Been to his house. He's a great guy. He's a very sincere fellow. He does really an amazing job. He was our guest a couple of weeks ago, our highest viewed podcast, by the way. So he set the record for us. But that's a great deal right now. The price of silver right now is right now hovering around $23 spot price right now, which is ridiculously undervalued. Gold is right now in the low 19s, 1927, I think it closed today. If you think that these prices and these costs or values of gold and silver are going to remain this low for the next couple of years, you really aren't paying attention to what's going on in the larger world in terms of monetary policy, inflation, that dreaded de-dollarization topic, which we talk about all the time. It is a real thing, folks. It's happening. It's happening real time. I mean, it happens every day. If you're not tuned in, if you don't understand about it, I suggest you learn. Do some Google searching. Understand that the banks in the world, not just in the U.S., are all going insolvent. They have been slaughtered by the collapse of their bond portfolio. The bonds have gone up from 0.30% 2 years ago to a high of Sunday night on a 10-year of 4.41. To go from 0.3 to 4.41, how many fold is that? Is that about a 11-fold, 1,100% increase? If up 11 times, right? Well, they bought a lot of bonds when the yields were 0.3. When the yields go up, the value of the bonds go down. So all these bonds are sitting on their balance sheet. They have lost a fortune. Every major bank that bought bonds, because that's the only place where they felt safe to put their money, they're all just bleeding money. People are taking money out of the bank at alarming rates. Everyone's, they're doing what Phil and I are doing. We're kind of like converting our fiat money into real assets. Gold and silver will always be gold and silver. Paper in our wallets, digits on a screen. We had a situation 10 days ago at an art show that my wife and I were doing, where a lightning bolt hit a cell tower. Everyone's square went down. No one could process anything remotely on their phones, on their tablets. For the last 2 hours of the show, only thing that people can do or transact with was cash.
Yeah.
And thankfully, most people had enough cash to buy what my wife was selling. But
Thank God.
Think of that on a grander scale. If all the lights go out, if basically the banks shut down and you can't access your money on your phone, on your laptop, does your money even exist at that point? I mean, maybe there'll be a paper trail of it somewhere, but if you can't get at it, if you can't access it because there's no electricity or there's let's say a cyber attack.
Well, you had that. You had that at the MGM this week.
Yep.
Right. You had a major cyber attack.
Yep.
So you couldn't do anything.
So would it behoove you to not have maybe, a couple hundred silver eagles stashed away in a small safe or in a drawer, or even some junk silver, some, 65, quarters and dimes and
64s. Yep.
And just, God knows, you might have to buy groceries with that,
or fuel also.
Yeah. So please, just so milesfranklin.com is their website. In the subject line, reference Face for Radio or Face, or contact the show at Face for Radio, FACEFOR radio at yahoo.com. I'll be happy to send you their weekly specials and their full inventory list, so you'll know what's in stock, what the premiums are for every item that they stock. And I tell you from my experience, they're bonded in the state of Minnesota, one of the few precious metals companies that are actually bonded by a state that they reside in, and they ship quickly. They take crypto. You can buy your precious metals with Bitcoin, believe it or not. One of the few companies that will take that. They do wire transfer, ACH. They'll even take a personal check. Just has to clear, so there's a little bit of a lag there. But please consider Miles Franklin as your precious metal source. Again, 33 years in business. I wouldn't steer you wrong. Again, I'm a customer myself. So let's take a quick break. We'll run some commercials, and we'll be back on the flip side with something kind of fun.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Hunter's Blend Coffee, premium coffee for freedom-loving Americans. Many coffee importers view the world very differently than you do and would support lobbyists that fight against the Second Amendment, hunting, and our God-given freedoms. No matter where you buy your coffee or who roasts it, someone had to import the green coffee beans. Well, we are the coffee buyer, importer, and roaster. So from the farmer to your mug, you can feel confident that your morning coffee has been safely in the hands of patriots. Hunter's Blend Coffee.
Jackie, my old friend.
It's me, James. So good to see you. How's the wife, the kids?
Oh, they're quite good, and thank you. And how's yours?
Well, to tell you the truth, now that I'm dead, I don't hear much from them. Rotten kids, you think a phone call every once in a while.
Oh, dear friend, we mustn't be too hard on them. They're amongst the living. Besides, we are now in the great thereafter, free from need and want.
I'll tell you what I really want is a hot pastrami sandwich and rye with maybe a nice knish on the side. Who knew heaven was like Topeka, Kansas on a Sunday night? Not a kosher deli anywhere to be found up here.
well, if you'd been sent somewhere else, I'm sure the pastrami would have been not the only thing that was hot.
That's a good point. Between the this and the that and whatever it is, I don't know. It's a mishigas.
I must say, you have such a way of expressing yourself. Your accent, is it wonderful Yiddish background?
I'm speaking English.
English? My word, that's not the language of the bard I'm familiar with.
Oh, so my English isn't good enough for you? Just because you sip your Earl Grey and I drink Manischewitz, you're better than me?
No, not at all. It's just that I have trouble understanding you, good old boy. Your speech patterns often, well, they leave me in the lurch.
Lurch? Speaking of Leutsch, now that was a guy who was hard to understand. With the and the what was he saying? What was he trying to do? What was he trying to take a bowel movement? I can't tell, to be honest. It's like he was being circumcised.
Oh, Jackie, we are beyond such bodily requirements now that we are deceased.
Speak for yourself. I haven't dropped a deuce in over 2 years, or had a good pee either. My prostate is so big, it has Goodyear printed on its side.
Oh, that's a terrible thing to say.
Oh, you think so?
Please spare me.
With the this and the that, are you kidding me?
Stop it, please.
Oh, the food, have you seen the service around here?
Speak proper
does
English,
anyone
for the love of
absolutely
God.
think that you could just
Why
walk
don't you
right
learn
into
how
a
to
restaurant and
speak?
say,
I can't
look,
stand this.
I own the place for crying out loud.
I'm leaving now. I'm leaving.
How about getting something, a side order of
I need a
whatever.
cup of tea.
I'll even clean up afterwards.
Bravo.
Oh,
that
good times.
That was a little thing we called Mason v. Mason. That was me trying to be James Mason, the Shakespearean actor, and you, of course, being the
Mason. It was a lot of fun. You walk into a restaurant. Are you kidding me? You called that service? I had to bring my own chair. I mean, it was, I'll tell you. Oh God, that was fun. That was a lot of fun doing that one.
Yeah, it was great. We had access to the radio station studios. Yeah. We were able to crank out some good stuff. You know, I'll weave in some blasts from the past. Maybe I'll even go out on the ledge and we'll do the law firm sometime. I don't think you've heard that one, Joe, but that's one of our classics.
It's yeah, I'll tell you.
That was good.
Yeah, well, you know that one. Okay.
Hey, you got to go out creatively with a bang. That's what I say. So it's all good.
You know,
Look, it was a long story. They were looking to get rid of me anyway, so it's I'm as free as a bird, so it's all good. And I love that we could still play it, and there's nothing they could do about it. That's
So we're actually starting to fire up the old bit wagon. So Phil and I are we're starting to get some stuff. We're in different locations now, but we're going to do our best to try to do some production and. Between the scripts and the voicing, we'll figure it out. But I'm putting in Phil's capable hands to do a lot of the production work on stuff. So I think we've got something in the pipeline.
We just got one today. I can't say the name of it, but I already have the voice in mind for it and the music bed. So that's going to be exciting once I get that up and running, and I'll send it to you, as a WAV file because
can't wait.
High quality.
Can't wait. That'd be great. So Joe, in the last segment of the show, I thought we just kind of like revisit some of the things you're doing. And now, did you by any chance have a way to screen share some of the?
No, you know what? I had to use a different computer. My other one wasn't working, so everything's on the other one. So but when it comes,
go ahead.
We can do everything from we've done home gyms. For people, I'm working on one right now, a 36,000 square foot house here in Boca Raton. The owner of it, he wanted a top-notch gym. We're having stuff flown over from Italy. We have equipment coming in from all over the place. Canada, Italy. The floor came from Spain. So this is top-notch, and we're running it as the project manager for the whole job. So it's coordinating everything, putting it together. And then right now we're waiting for the final pieces to come in, and then we start the floor next week, putting it in. But this is a house that he literally bought a $12 million house and knocked it down, and he built a 36,000 square foot house, and he's putting his own personal gym, like top of the line. And we're gonna take this. It's just gonna be a gym that you've never seen before. It's
what's gonna end up happening. He's just gonna end up hanging his laundry on the equipment.
The guy's a workout fiend. But I'm gonna be honest with you. When he's done with it, he really wants to buy a building, 10,000 square foot building, and build his own gym for himself.
I think I remember you telling me about this guy. Yeah.
So he's
the stone guy. The stone guy. He made his money in stone aggregates.
Tiles and stone. So he's a big he's a big player. When you have that kind of money, you do whatever you want. But
there's money in working with your hands in this life.
That's it.
Building real stuff. Stuff that's built to last. Well, the thing that I've always known about you, Joe, and in fact, with this company that you've been with for the last 4 years, you just had your 4th year anniversary, as I recall, with Legend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you while you're based in South Florida, you actually are covering the Northeast as well.
Cover the whole Northeast. I cover all Florida, and then I'm handling some other stuff in different areas that I have contacts in, like San Francisco. I just had equipment shipped out today to San Francisco for somebody I know. So it's all over the country. We do have sales guys in different territories, but if they're my leads, my people, I usually could sell anywhere.
So, Real, why don't you put up Joe's info again real quick? Is his business card there? Because I guess what I'd like to what I want to emphasize. So there's his number there, and his number for the people on audio is 561-305-0825. Email is jferguson@legendfitness.com. So even if you are listening and you own a gym, or you know someone that has a gym and is either looking to remodel or add to what they've got, or even if you're looking to just do like what Joe is working on presently in Boca, if you're building a new house or you're remodeling and you're thinking about putting in a home fitness, center or part of the house, or you have a basement with high enough ceilings, you can put in some of those racks. Reach out to Joe. Joe's notes, we'll put Joe's notes in the show for next week. So we'll have all your contact info in there. Okay. And then your friend Sal with the gym administrator. Again, you have people all around the country that are basically selling these product lines But one thing that's really great about Joe's company too, that what I've learned, they have a company that will do the assembling and the building of these. Really, they're pretty hefty pieces of equipment. So it's not like you would order these things that come in on a truck and then they wish you well and good luck putting it together. No, Joe has the people in the places around the country that'll come in, and it's for a fee, of course, but it's reasonable, and it's all built to the cost of having something this nice. But you want professionals putting it together naturally. It's usually like 2 or 3 guys that come in, right? Because some of these,
at least all depends on the deals.
Hundreds of them. Yeah, and they'll put them together for you, and Joe will do the design, and everything. Of course, you can be done really well with virtually, so you don't have to necessarily see it, to appreciate it. You don't have to be there physically. You take a picture of the room, give dimensions. Joe will do the layout. And then you just go from there. I mean,
we do not just layouts. We'll do mock-ups of each piece of equipment to their colors and their specs.
Whoa.
So if they want to see what their finished product's going to look like, we can put their logo on it and show them what the colors with their logo. So it'll be pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch, to see it. I've been in the fitness business since 1983, but I was never sold equipment till this job 4 years ago. I always loved equipment, but I always ran clubs, and my passion was really doing this, setting people up, making sure, getting them what they need. See, people also think they want certain things until they talk to me. I'm actually dealing with somebody in Ghana right now. Okay, I have a client in Ghana. So he has a friend, because I did his place, and he's got a friend who wants one, and they gave me a list of stuff. And what people don't realize is detail. Detail is important when it comes to buying fitness equipment for your home. They wanted a stair climber. I said, well, how tall is their ceiling? They're like 8 feet. You can't do a stair climber in 8 feet. You'll hit your head.
Right.
So it's like, okay, take that out. Let's find something similar to that you can do the same exercise on that. And that's what I came up with, a HIIT trainer that they can use to do that, to get the same kind of thing, because they can't do it. Now, any other sales guy just would have sold them that stair climber. It would have got all the way to Ghana, and they're going to put it in their house, and they can't use it because they're going to hit the head every time they get on it.
Right.
So it's really it's being aware of situations, asking people the right questions. We had somebody, a firehouse. Actually, no, I'm sorry, a police station. They ordered a piece from us, a big combo piece from us, this last about 3 months ago, whatever. They got it in. They told us what the size of the door was, but they didn't tell us that it was going down a corridor that was smaller than the size of the door. Could not get it in.
Yeah.
Had to ship it back.
It's all about communication. As long as
communication, detail, the more communication they can have with me, the better I understand what it is. And, we could FaceTime. We could see what they have to deal with. They could video and send it to me. They could fit out. I have a site survey they can fill out, and so I could get an idea. And then I can put it all down on paper, show them what it's going to look like.
Okay, so we just had Joe's contact info up there again. Why don't you, 561-305-0825, Joe Ferguson at legendfitness.com. Joe, hey, I really appreciate you taking time your evening to join us. It's great to see you again.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sure
Good
when
to
I'm
see
back
you
down,
too,
we'll get together.
Thank you. Absolutely.
We'll set up shop at the Dunkin' Donuts there on Dixie Highway, or
let's do it.
Amen.
And we'll have to corral Mr. Carente, get him to join us.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Oh, always a pleasure, Joe.
Great to see you, Joe. Awesome stuff as always.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Guy, Phil, thanks again for your, for you taking time this evening as well. It's always great to see you.
My pleasure. And oh, look at that. I even got a free little plug here, folks. So real fast in closing.
Absolutely.
So they have this great contest. I'm part of it. It's called faceofhorror.org/2023/Phil-Hirsch. And if I am selected right now, I'm in the top 20. I will be flown to LA to work with Kane Hodder of Friday the 13th fame as Jason. So there it is. You can vote for free once a day. It also benefits Be Positive. It's a great organization, a nonprofit that helps out kids with cancer across the country. So
beautiful.
Good stuff there. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. Rebel, always on top of it.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Great. So love it. Guys, we'll see you down the road. And Phil, as always,
hasta la vista.
Baby.
Wow.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Face for Radio. Check us out next week. I'm Richard Marks.
And I'm Phil Hirsch.